Hello everybody, I'm Jonathan from Gamereactor. We're here at Gamescom 2016 and I'm standing with two developers from Piranha Bytes, who is developing a game called Elex. So for those who do not know what Elex is, can you just shortly tell us what is the game?
Elex is a open world role-playing game in a science fantasy setting. So it's a mixture from science fiction and fantasy, basically.
Yes. Yeah, and can you explain a little bit about the world and the story we're gonna see in this game?
Yes, we have a very huge world, so without loading zones, so we have different landscape in our world. We have a desert, we have wood, forest, stuff like that. And the story is you were once a member of the main antagonist faction, and you have now to fight your way back because your faction, you don't belong to them anymore. And now you have to survive in our world, and our world is very dangerous. So you have to choose your new faction and gain powers again.
Yeah, and there's something called Elex in the game. What is Elex? What does it do to you?
Elex is a substance that came with a meteor that struck the Earth like 160 years ago, and this meteor came with the Elex came with the meteor, and the people in the world of Elex use it for different things. I can consume Elex and gain strong magical powers, but I'm also becoming very emotionless and very cold-blooded. On the other hand, I gain strong magical powers, as I said, but I can also use it as a fuel for robots and gliders and stuff like that, machines.
Okay, so you say you become emotionless. So it's sort of a trade-off. You get more powers, but what is the downside? What effect does it have that you are emotionless?
You get very logical, and our main antagonist faction are the Alps, and their religion is to basically every Elex for us, and they consume it as a religion, and be as emotionless as possible. On the other hand, there are factions like the Berserks. They clean the Elex from the negative effects and get only the magical powers. I can join them as well, but they don't use tech, for example.
Okay. So you said it's a huge open world. How big is it, and what different kind of environments are we going to see?
It's very big. I don't know if you know our game Gothic 3. Gothic 3, for example, it was very huge, and Elex is bigger. So and without loading zones, I have to repeat it. So you can travel to almost everywhere, and we have such a different landscape. You have a lot to explore, and I think it's heaven for role-play gamers.
Yeah, we have deserts. We have a snowy landscape. You can visit the meteor crater, and there's every volcanic activity and stuff like that. We have forests, nearly everything.
And so let's get into a little bit of the gameplay side there. How is the fighting system, and what kind of enemies are we going to see?
We have very challenging enemies. So we have big, huge giants, we have robots, we have mutated creatures, we have enemies which will use ranged attacks as well as close combat attacks. So you have to choose your fighting style, or it might be not a good idea to approach with a sword to a guy who has a grenade launcher, so put yourself a rocket launcher or stuff like that. And so you have to adapt your fighting style, because our combat system is very difficult. So not difficult to learn, but we want that the player faces a challenge. But if he's a story player, you can change the combat system to, okay, I only want to explore the story, and you can utilize it your way.
Okay, and of course in every role-playing game, leveling up and getting skills is a big thing. What kind of skills do you have in this kind of science fiction fantasy universe?
A lot of different skills. You have a few skills you can learn from the start up, but if you choose a faction, you get your own skill tree, which is exclusive to that faction. For example, if I'm an outlaw, I can craft my own ammunition. Grenades are expensive and seldom, but if I'm an outlaw, I can craft them myself. If I am a cleric, I can learn brainwashing skills and stuff like that. If I'm a berserk, I can learn magic spells and stuff like that. So it's a huge, yeah.
And what about weapons? Is that also a combination of fantasy swords and then a laser weapon, or what are we looking at?
Of course. So our fantasy faction dislikes tech. They know there's tech out there, but they dislike it. They have their they rely on their magical powers, and that's enough for them. But we have also the clerics, which are a bit military. They like laser and plasma rifles. Or the outlaws. They see a bunch of scrap metal. Okay, I like to craft a good weapon with it. So every faction has its unique weapon set.
So some people in role-playing games like the fighting, and other people like the more social interaction with the world. What kind of interaction do you have with the world and the people we're gonna meet?
We have a lot of interaction in the world. You can not only use a lot of just sit in a table or go to sleep or stuff like that, but our cities are very alive. So what that means is the people there have their own lives, they have their own homes. If I am an intruder in their homes, they will throw me out. If I just try to steal something, they will draw their weapon or tell the guards or stuff like that. So I can, besides the quests, there's a lot of quests. I can play also a lot with the world itself. That was a very big thing for us to do.
Yeah, and you showed you attacked a village or a building in this presentation and killed a guy, and that changed the quest. Yes. Can you tell us a bit about the different choices and different things you can do that will change the line of the story?
So we really want to make sure that every player who plays Elex can make some good role playing. So if you're into a dialogue, for example, you have several choices and you can be your character. Do you want to play as an asshole? Okay, so be it. And then kill the guy, but it will matter in our world. It will change history, for example. So some quests will completely differ, and some NPCs will respond to that. Hey, what's with the guy? You killed him. How should I survive now, for example? And the world will react to your actions.
So these different factions you have in the game, you choose one, but can you then later choose shift alignment or shift faction?
No, you can't. We made this because we want that the player has to decide and has to be a member of his faction. He has to climb ranks in that faction and stuff like that. And a lot of NPCs will react to that, which faction I choose. So also it brings a lot of replayability.
So it's really a part of the role playing and building your character, the values and so of the different factions.
Exactly.
Okay, and is there anything else you really want to point out here before we end?
Yes, I want to point out that we want to thank all our fans because they supported us during the development. They give us some really good impressions, and yes, we love developing Elex. We have a lot of fun, and yeah, it's good communicating with all of you.
And
when do you think it's going to be out, and on what platforms can you play
it? Sometimes 2017, PS4, Xbox One, PC.
Thank you very much.